Well, welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, Rangers fans. This is your everyday news channel run by the fans for you, the fan. And you know what? If you want to make sure you never miss out on any of the content, hit the sub, ring the notification bell. Well, it's the 1st of November today. October is officially behind us, and what a momentous October has been for the club. The appointment of Phillipe Clement, more defeats in the league, poor performances, and maybe suddenly a corner being turned, or maybe not after Sunday. But it certainly promises to be an eventful November and December for Rangers as we build towards that next Old Firm game on the 30th of December at Parkhead. Especially with us hopefully going into that game only being 5 or maybe less points behind them if they do drop any more points. It's it's a situation we are in where we really do need to kind of continue to build on what we've done. And look, Sunday, I don't want to reflect too much on Sunday, but Sunday was the performance for 83 minutes was pretty dreadful from everybody. No excuses. Everybody was pretty hopeless. It was only kind of in that last, that last 9-10 minutes of injury time when we came good and got the win. And I suppose I'll say it now, and I've said it before. We don't win that game under Michael Beale. We don't win that game under Gio van Bronckhorst. So credit to Phillipe Clement for putting some belief into the team. Clement is in a difficult position, isn't he? With where he is at the moment, he's kind of got to just work with what he's got due to the injury problems that we still have at the club. And this has been something that's just reoccurred over the last year, 2 years, 3 years. Constant injuries, constantly holding us back. Key players missing. And I think it's something, again, was a big theme of the press conference today that Phillipe Clement gave when he spoke to the media. And there's clearly a frustration there that there was a number of players that are missing constantly. And it to me, it kind of seems to be the same old players missing all the time. And that can't be good. That isn't good. I mean, that man can't be good. It isn't good. And that's a fact. Kemar Roof and Tom Lawrence, Borna Barisic injured again. It's the same names constantly, and you've got to kind of question, and I'm sure that it's something that Phillipe Clement has done, question their lifestyle, question the strength and conditioning methods, question the training methods. And Phillipe Clement has kind of talked about that, hasn't he? The fact that we need to overhaul that, we need to look at that, we need to develop that, it needs to get better, because we cannot have the amount of injuries we've got if we're going to continue to compete and actually compete properly for the title. At the moment, it's 5 points. Hopefully, it could be less going into that Parkhead game on the 30th of December. But you know what? It could still be 5 points. We win, it's 2 points. But Clement has got his work cut out for him turning this team round. And too often, I think, with some of these players, they've kind of let the team down. They let the fans down with their performances. They kind of got used to coming second, and that's wrong. We need to get that positive attitude back into the squad. Now, it's obviously today is match day. We travel to Dens Park on Tayside to take on Dundee, not Dundee United. No, they're in the Championship, and we obviously still snigger at that. But at Dundee FC, who haven't been too bad this season, and we will look at that shortly. But it's going to be a game that Rangers must win. But then what? As I said on Rangers Review yesterday morning, every single game is a must-win from now until the end of the season, given the fact that we cannot afford to allow them to get any more points ahead of us. We need to keep continuing to put pressure on, and when possible, cut that points gap down, especially ahead of the future upcoming Old Firm games. Although with the fact that it's only 5 points, 3 victories from 3 Old Firms wins you the league if you maintain a positive result or a better result than the other half of Glasgow. So Phillipe Clement has been obviously having a big thing. It's been about fitness, it's about strength, it's about conditioning, it's about getting players ready, it's about having a strong team physically and mentally. And Clement has kind of identified that as a need. Now, one thing apparently he's got the players doing is using the cryo chamber that was at Auchenhowie. Now, what's a cryo chamber? I know that's something you all want to know. What some of you might be thinking, what is a cryo chamber? Well, you know what? It's probably down to Martin Martin Bain, because he had one installed at Sunderland as well. Apparently, it was mainly for his back injury. It was installed. But what is a cryo chamber for? Apparently, it's a supercooling freezing thing. It's for therapeutic purposes. It can benefit conditions like chronic pain. in muscle injuries, etc., etc. Now, according to a number of reports coming out of Auchenhowie and out of Ibrox, Phillipe Clement has called on his players to use this cryo chamber on a more regular basis, particularly to help overcome all these injuries. Phillipe Clement, talking to the media, said, it'd be really important. He said, actually, let's go back to the start. This is what he actually said. It's quite a puzzle. He's talked about how this injury crisis is one of the biggest management puzzles he's ever faced in his management career. It's the biggest puzzle that I ever saw, to be honest, with all the injuries and players dropping out until now. We started with a lot of players not available and some players falling out also in the last couple of weeks. So it'll be really important every game to look at the minutes of every player and try to build their physical condition, their robustness in the next couple of weeks and months to have a bigger squad available. He was asked if he could put a reason behind this spate of injuries that Rangers have been having. He said, yes, but not for you guys. That is something we are dealing with within the club. Push further on this, he said, next question, please. So obviously he doesn't want to talk about it. He is on, obviously, like Michael Beale would have had verbal diarrhea there and given everything away. But Phillipe Clement, as we've seen, is someone who likes to play his cards close to his chest, likes to keep things to himself, knows what to share, what not to share, which is obviously something that Michael Beale could have certainly learned. But Clement is, I think, quite clever in the fact that, he's identified a lot of the issues that a lot of us have already seen, the mentality issue, the fitness issue, the strength and conditioning issue. And the fact that he's keeping it in-house would insinuate that maybe there is fault to be attributed to coaches, to medical staff, to Michael Beale. But he wants to maintain a professional relationship with all those and to be seen to be professional. Now, if he was to come out in the media and slag off Michael Beale or to slaughter the strength and conditioning department or the medical department of the club, that wouldn't have a good look on it, would it? And, could cause ructions, could cause issues. He's just being a very professional manager and someone who, like I said, only gives away what he needs to give away. Plus, also, he doesn't want to give stuff away to our nearest competitors either. That's another thing that is worth considering. Something else that Phillipe Clement talked about was the fact that apparently when he was managing in Belgium, he was very interested in securing the services of Danilo, and he rated Danilo exceptionally highly. Obviously, very interesting news given the fact that he is now having the opportunity to actually manage Danilo. He did talk about Danilo in his press conference today. He talked about the fact that he's not ready to play 90 minutes. He is ready to play, were his exact words, which would kind of insinuate that, to me, that he would be considering starting him. Maybe, the fact that he can't play 90 minutes, he could give 60, 70 minutes, and then we take him off after that. I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, he cannot be any worse than Cyrochambers, Dessers and Sam Lammers, who have been absolutely dreadful. We will get to Dessers and Lammers shortly. Now, Rangers head to Dens Park today for match day for, with the league looking like this. Celtic sit top on 26. We're second, cutting the gap to 5 points on 21. Those 3 defeats, though, really costing us. St Mirren in third on 18 with a game in hand. Killie in fourth with 13 points. Our opponents today, Dundee, are in fifth. They have a record of played 9, won 2, drawn 5, lost 2. So 7 non-losing results. We'll look over their results shortly. Motherwell sit in 6th, Hearts in 7th, Hibs in 8th, Ross County in 9th, Livy in 10th, Aberdeen 11th, and it's St Johnstone are bottom of the pile. So, yes, that table does look a bit better with 5 points, but we can see where Dundee sit. Now, Dundee will be a team that want to come and play us, in as much as I think they'll put the low block in. They will attack a lot. They'll hit on any counter-attack opportunities they get. They're not going to want to come out and play Rangers. I think that is a recipe for disaster. Yes, they have got some very, very decent players that they've attracted since they've been promoted to the SPFL. But overall, they are in a position where they're probably going to put the low block on, probably going to try and frustrate Rangers, turn the fans against them, really frustrate everyone when it comes to the game tonight. That's going to be their aim, I think. I can't see them wanting to come out and play. You know, they'll see what happened to Hibs when Hibs decided to come out and play us. And I think they will obviously steer clear of that. Yes, they've got some good new signings. Yes, they've got some decent players. But these players are not obviously a match for the talent that is currently in our squad, even though a lot of us don't really rate that squad. And there is obviously a lot of issues within the team that need to be addressed long term. But that's an issue for another day and another podcast. You know, if we look at the results that Dundee have had so far in the league this season, you know, last time out, what did they do last time out? Let's have a quick look. Last time out, they won 2-0 against Livingston and a man sent off. Before that, they drew 0-0 at home against Ross County. Before that, they drew 0-0 with Hibs. Before that, they drew 2-2 with Kilmarnock. Very much becoming the draw specialist. They beat Hibs, so 3 with a 1-0 victory at home. They lost to St Mirren away, and they drew their opening game of the season against Motherwell. So, you know, very mixed record there. A team that's, you know, will make life difficult for us. A team that will want to come out and kind of, you know, frustrate Rangers. That's going to be a key thing. And I think, look, for me, it's getting back to that arrogance. I was listening to Club at 22 earlier, and they were talking about this. It's getting the arrogance back, getting the swagger back. And that may be hard at the moment, you know, given some of the players that we've got and the fact that some of the players we've got are really struggling and not doing at all well. Obviously, prime amongst them is Cyrochambers, Dessers and Lammers, who have both been genuinely dreadful. I mean, absolutely awful. I mean, like I said on the video earlier, I absolutely howled at Stevie Clifford's comment that a traffic code would probably be more use than Cyrochambers Dessers, especially as obviously the Four Lads and Heart and Hand and so his Four Lads and Rangers Review partner with the club. To hear him coming out with this is stinging criticism indeed. And you know, he just, for me, Dessers and Lammers in the last 2 games have looked absolutely genuinely dreadful. Personally, I would take them out of the firing line. Their confidence is low. I wouldn't put them in a position where they're going to be further slaughtered. You know, they could be, you know, certainly going forward this week, the Dundee game Wednesday, and obviously then the cup semi-final on Sunday. So, you know, I talked on the podcast yesterday about the team that I would pick. For me, Butland to have Goldson, Suter and Ridvan. Holding would be John Lundstrom and Cifuentes. Look, I think he'll probably play Lundstrom and Jack, but I think this is way, way too negative. I'd much prefer to see Cifuentes, even if he only gives us 45 minutes, and then you bring Dowell on or Jack on or whoever, or Lundstrom on. Behind the striker, for me, the striker will obviously, you know, be Danilo. I would start with Danilo, try and get 65, 70 minutes out of him. And then you're probably going to have to bring on Dessers because there literally is nobody else with Lovelace out, with Roof out of action to actually come in and play. So, yeah, that's out of that question. But look, behind Danilo, I would go with Cantwell in the hole as the 10, Seamer left. And I want to see young Ross McCausland get a run out. I think Ross McCausland is a fabulous player. You know, he's direct, he's exciting. You know, he's someone who's got a lot to prove in terms of the fact that, you know, even if he wants to play first team football on a regular basis, and he could actually save us a hell of a lot of money. We do need a winger. And if someone like McCausland could come in and actually, you know, be influential and help us to win games, that would be extremely positive for Rangers. So, look, at the end of the day, this is where we're at. This is where we're looking. I just, you know, as we build towards Hearts at the weekend, which is the semi-final, I want to be clear on one thing. I really think that Clement, and I'm hoping that he's brave, that he takes Dessers and Lammers out of the firing line over the next couple of games, because they are a laughing stock. I mean, Scottish football, they are cult heroes across the city. They love them to bits, those two, because of the fact they're so bad. I mean, can you imagine Dessers and Lammers turning out and playing for Rangers at Parkhead? They will get absolutely eaten alive, collapse within themselves, and become even worse players. So, look, Dessers and Lammers for me need to be rested tonight. I would love to see McCausland come in for Lammers, Danilo come in for Dessers, and let's run with that. Let's see how it goes. You can always change, you know, things at half time with the likes of Dowell on the bench if you really insist. Lammers and Dessers on the bench. Dessers to me just doesn't look like a footballer, not a real footballer anyway. So that's where I'm at with that, and that's, you know, that's where a lot of the Rangers fan base are at it with. Well, guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in today's video as we build towards the game this evening away at Dens Park against Dundee. I'm going for a 2-1 victory for Rangers tonight. So obviously let's get together, let's watch the game, and let's hope that we can get those 3 points. As always, on the way out, there is 2 things I desperately need you to do. Number 1 is smash the like. Number 2 is remember we are the people.